What's happening, folks? Back with some more Japan, and we're going back to their 1981 album Tin Drum. I do want to mention I'm recording this on July 4th, and it's getting close to dusk, so there are already fireworks going off regularly, so if you hear bangs and booms outside, do not be alarmed. But yeah, the next track in the playlist is Canton, which, if you didn't know, is referred to as Guangzhou in modern times, although it's not actually how you pronounce it in Chinese, but that's how it looks written in English, and it's part of the Guangdong province, which used to be the Canton province. So indeed, the dialect of Cantonese, as it has historically been called in like the West, so to speak, that is the dialect that centers on the city of what is now Guangzhou. Again, that's not how it's said in Chinese. Regardless, it's like the biggest city in southern China. It's like I think over 100 million in the like greater part of the main city. And yeah, ultimately, it's certainly a major part of Chinese history, which, because it's such a large like geographical area, there's so many different facets to even modern Chinese history, so I won't delve into that, but I am familiar with the city and the sort of history of it in maybe the 20th century up into the present to a limited extent, again, despite being a historian and despite actually taking 2 China-related classes in my graduate studies. It's not something I focused on. Again, my focus for my thesis was the Muskogee Nation in the late 18th and early 19th centuries as it pertained to their attempts at tribal sovereignty and so on. So, bottom line, I'm familiar with the city and some aspects of its history, but if there are particular references to very specific aspects of its culture or society or so on, they may be lost on me. Nevertheless, I am picking up on a East Asian theme, perhaps even more than their previous albums. Again, their band name is Japan, but it really does feel like maybe this album is pushing even more into focusing on the sounds and the words of East Asian forms. So I'm curious if that was something they were specifically pursuing, or if it just kind of seems that way to me based on a couple of the titles and the overall sound of some of the tracks. But either way, I keep mentioning there are tracks where I feel like we're in some alien dimension where it's music unlike just about anything I've heard. So it's a complicated vibe, but like I said, both in name and in sound, it feels like East Asian themes were part of this album. So let's get it. This is Japan, the track is Canton, and it's the 4th track on their 1981 album Tin Drum. That bass is crazy. It's like a bass that almost sounds like a voice. I thought we were going to maybe get Sylvian's voice there, but instead we get Sylvian's voice to start any moment. I like that percussive rhythm. I don't know if it's a tambourine, but it has that quality to it. I'm wondering, again, my knowledge of the history is not complete or in great detail, but I'm wondering if Britain or the UK has a colonial history there, sort of in the way they did in Hong Kong and Shanghai and some other places. But yeah, because I'm wondering where the name Canton comes from, because again, I think that was an exonym. I think it was a name that was like put on it perhaps by colonial authorities at some point. But either way, it's interesting. Like, I did not trust that it was an instrumental, even like 4 minutes into the track. It's like, nope, I know, like suddenly, like Sylvian's like, you know, crazy wicked vocal is just gonna like float into the track, but it actually didn't happen. It actually was a full instrumental. And yeah, I enjoyed the different elements, like maybe more than any other that had like strong, you know, like Chinese music, like East Asian vibes. So what I was saying beforehand, like, seems to just be continuing. So it definitely seems like it's a major facet of this album particularly. And I noticed when I downloaded this, because, you know, the tracks in the folder that's been made available to me are listed alphabetically, and there's another track, Cantonese Boy, but I noticed on the Discogs track listing that's the final tune on the album. So we'll be back to Canton eventually, and apparently we're going to hear, you know, some narrative or some scene depicted with a Cantonese boy. That's again, like, you know, this is just going to get crazier throughout the night, but I want to, you know, I'm going to stay home with Luca, make sure she's cool. She doesn't even care. She's literally sleeping through them all. But yeah, I'm going to try to shoot videos through the whole night. It'll be interesting to see how intense it gets and, you know, if it actually impinges on the music. So thankfully it's not too bad right now, but either way, do let me know what you think of this one. Big shout out to all the people who've been following the Japan series. And yeah, let me know what you think. We'll see you next time. Peace.